bookmark this video if you want to learn more exactly about this major Satoshi wallet movement, what's going to potentially happen on October 5th. We're going to break it all down in detail and share a full analysis from a gentleman who did it on X, and I'll give credit in just a minute. So just quick backstory. I'll give my short backstory, and then we'll get right into it. And that's going to be back in July 4th, Independence Day in the United States of America. The massive, what they're calling as a potential hack of BTC was moved and inscribed on the blockchain. And we're going to break it down here right now. Now, the gentleman in the video I'm going to share, they're believing that it was a major a hack or attack. It's a fair assessment. It's fair assessment, meaning that somebody could have had their keys stolen. But I think that's the confusion here, is that there's a difference between a hack and finding someone's keys or losing their keys or intentionally setting this up to get rid of Satoshi once and for all. All right, so you got to look at it from all angles. And I think that more likely than not, as we know from the Kleiman v. Wright case, which went up on appeal in the district court, in the circuit court, in the appellate division or appellate court over there out of Florida, that Dr. Craig Wright has control over most of all of the Satoshi wallets. That's a matter of law. I'm not here to debate it. It's already decided. So that this being one of those wallets, and therefore the options are one, that Wright is creating a masterful exploit in how Bitcoin works, and he's also killing off Satoshi if Satoshi doesn't come forward on the 5th of October, and creating this massive sign, or somebody stole his keys. Really, those are pretty much the only two options. Somebody stole his keys and they've got a hold of his stuff. So let's get into this, and I'm going to comment. So it's at CypherTux is the X account.
In financial history, and I believe it's real.
On July 4, 2025, American Independence Day, $8.6 billion worth of Bitcoin was moved under circumstances that defy all conventional logic. This investigation reveals the backstory of an event that could redefine our understanding of cryptographic security. 8. The historic event, when $8.6 billion moves in silence. July 4, 2025 will remain etched in Bitcoin history. During the day, 80,000 BTC, equivalent to $8.6 billion at current prices, were simultaneously moved from 8 wallets that had been dormant for over 14 years. Each wallet contained exactly 10,000 BTC, in perfect symmetry that immediately rules out any coincidence. This surgical coordination represents the largest Bitcoin movement ever recorded in a single operation. But beyond the dizzying figures, it's the very nature of this transaction that raises questions. Because unlike the usual whale awakenings, this operation bears all the hallmarks of a technical demonstration, or a major cryptographic exploit. The concerned wallets, fossils from the Bitcoin era. The 8 addresses involved share troubling characteristics. Identical format. All use the P2PKH, pay to pub key hash, standard, massively employed in Bitcoin's early years. Total inactivity. No outgoing transactions since their creation, between 2010 and 2011. Uniform amounts. Exactly 10,000 BTC per wallet, suggesting a common origin. Same activity, period. All funded during the golden age of early adopters. Mantelpiece origin transaction revelation. 2 creation waves. Analysis of origin transactions reveals that the 8 wallets were created in 2 distinct waves, with different patterns that deserve documentation. Water wave, first wave, April 2, 2011. Unified pattern. Single source address funds 2 wallets. 2108 UTC, 1 HQXB9 SR, right arrow 12 TLs 9C9. 10,000 BTC, view transaction. 2218 UTC, 1 HQXB9 SR, right arrow 1 KBR SKRT. 10,000 BTC, view transaction. Water wave second, view transaction. 0128 UTC,
Op return.
1 FVM PSU. View transaction. 0201 UTC, 19 twime. Right. View transaction. 02 silent. The more we assume it's lost
This
forever.
notice is now on the
And
blockchain.
yet, the longer the silence lasts, this case reveals what could be called the dormant wallet paradox. The longer a wallet remains silent, the more we assume it's lost forever. And yet, the longer the silence lasts, the more strategic it becomes.
Yeah, so this notice here is a legal notice. It's basically stating that the owner is provided 90 days legal notice to respond to this notice. In other words, an owner with valid proof of ownership must respond before October 5th. Today's the 2nd, almost 3rd. If no response is received, the digital wallets and their contents will be considered to be confirmed as abandoned. In sum, the lack of a response may be provided to a court as evidence of the relinquishment of all rights, title, and interest in digital wallets. This is an important legal notice, and rights could be adversely impacted as in the bona fide if the bona fide owner of this digital wallet does not respond. Provide proof of ownership either by one, using a private key with any wallet on chain in a transaction which allows ownership to sign ownership and maintain anonymity while costs and owner nearly nothing. Send Solomon Brothers a message using the contact form. Detailed description below in the valid chain. Our client seeks ownership right of the digital wallet, which no valid owner responds by prior to October 5th, 2025. Henceforth, no person shall trespass upon, infringe the rights, nor attempt to extract any digital assets from this wallet without prior written authorization of our client, except for any individual or entity showing valid ownership. So this is the notice, and what people are freaking out about, like on this video here and others, is that they don't understand. They think that anybody can just take their wallet, take their stuff, and put it on here and steal it. That's not at all what's happening. Okay, that's not what's happening. This is a showmanship of not only a technical showmanship of understanding of Bitcoin, but also a showmanship of showing that those abandoned wallets, those Satoshi wallets, which were abandoned, are now being claimed by someone other than Satoshi himself. Why? Because Satoshi never existed. He's been killed off. He was an anonymous fiction. He was just a pseudonym. He didn't have any legal rights. Satoshi didn't. He had no legal rights. He was a pseudonym. He was a fiction. So that is now, it's an exercise in a legal process to show the world that, hey, if Satoshi or this wallet owner, they don't say Satoshi here, but if the wallet owner had legal rights, show them now or forever hold your, peace.
Activity feeds forgetfulness, but sometimes masks extreme vigilance. In the Bitcoin universe, absence of movement is not necessarily forgetfulness. It's sometimes a stance. The thesis that dormant wallets were probably lost forever seems increasingly wrong. On the contrary, the more time passes, the more facts suggest that some of these wallets are not forgotten, but watched, and sometimes reactivated with surgical precision. This uniformity is not insignificant. It suggests that these wallets don't belong to distinct investors, but result from a common generation process, possibly automated. Receipt hidden messages, when the blockchain becomes communication terrain. But the most intriguing aspect of this case lies in the 4 op return messages inscribed on the blockchain just before the main transfer. These digital graffiti reveal meticulous staging. First message, declaration of war. Legal notice, we have taken possession of this wallet and its contents, an unambiguous message. The entity behind this operation publicly claims possession of the funds, with legal formalism reminiscent of real estate seizures. Second message, the ultimatum. Not abandon Bitcoin universe. Third message, legitimation. Notice to owner, see Salomon Bros, creating abandoned funds. Fourth message, the artistic signature. 4/8/15/16/23/42. The famous Lost Numbers from the TV series
This is
Lost.
the Lost Numbers.
To
from
understand the
TV
scope
series.
of this reference, we must
definitely
dive back into the universe of this cult series,
Cult.
2042-010. These 6 numbers constitute one of the central mysteries of the plot. They appear everywhere on the mysterious island, must be entered every 108 minutes in an underground station to save the world, and seem cursed, bringing misfortune to anyone who uses them, lottery, gambling, etc. In Lost, these numbers represent the obsession with control in the face of the unknown, the question of destiny versus free will, and above all, the idea that certain secrets are too dangerous to be revealed. The parallel with this Bitcoin operation is striking. Someone who holds a potentially revolutionary and dangerous technical secret for the crypto ecosystem.
All this information
chooses to
got
sign their exploit with these
deleted off the internet somehow. So they completely deleted all this. This video is still up, but the website that did all this research was somehow, I think it was hacked or something. I don't remember what their investigation showed, but something happened. They compromised it. Probably one of these trolls did that. But this gentleman, Satoshi Vision is the channel. He was able to find it and, at least back it up on this YouTube video. So I'm doing the same. Some of the legal notices we've taken possession of these wallets here. So you could see another thing that's really interesting is that the only thing that they've done is move the BTC and the BCH. I don't know if that's in this. He put some curse words inside of the message. That is see that right here? There's curse words inside of here. That's in the actual chain, like with intention. I'm sorry, in the wallet. October 5th, historic precedents. I can't remember if this actually shows that it's only the BTC and the BCH and the BSV, they did not move. Oh, here we go. Digital adverse possession strategy. Beyond simple legal protection, this operation reveals a more sophisticated legal strategy, applying an ancestral common law principle to the digital world. The entity applies logic analogous to that of real estate or material goods. I have taken possession of abandoned goods, made it public, offer a 90-day contestation period. Without contestation, I become legitimate owner. This approach draws inspiration from several legal principles, concepts. One, abandoned property doctrine. In certain jurisdictions, property can be considered abandoned if an owner has not manifested themselves for a determined duration, and the third party takes possession in a public and open manner. Although timelines are generally longer, 7 years, the fundamental principle exists. Adverse possession. Strong principle in American real estate. If you continuously, openly, and without permission occupy property for a defined period, 10 to 15 years, you can claim full ownership. This entity transposes this logic to the cryptographic domain, the exploiting the current legal void. This is a real principle in California. There's a 369. Is it 369? It's 3 something of the Civil Code of Procedure. I'm pretty sure it's 369. And it sets out the principles of it where a party can pay the taxes. Let's say that let me give you an example of why this is why this law is in existence. When they were setting up the land patents, all the land in the United States of America is all patented. It was all issued by patent under the Constitution, Article 4, Section 3, Clause 2, where Congress has the right to dispose of the land. So they issue these patents. And inside the patents, what they would do is they would oftentimes grant the patents to the West. They wanted people to go west, establish the West, because nobody was out here. And they would patent the land. And then the land would be just raw and open and vacant. So it would say, hey, nobody's on this land. I'm going to claim it. I'm going to do adverse possession. And that was a good thing because there was no one there to live on that land and the property. And therefore they could claim it. They could pay the taxes on it. They could maintain it. They could fix it up. They could make it a homestead. And then they would eventually become an owner after a certain period of time. In California now, as a matter of statute, it's like 5 years. Maybe before it was 10 years or other states. So it is the law that still exists for that very purpose, where you have property or land, like in this case with the Bitcoin, BTC that has been abandoned. They're using it in this concept. A person sets a claim to it, makes it a notorious claim, maintains it, pays the taxes on it. I mean, and pays the fees in this case. And then they eventually go to court. Now, here's the key. It doesn't just happen where you get lucky and all of a sudden happen. You still have to go to court and give everybody due process. That's the whole beauty of our system, is that it doesn't just happen and you get this free thing. No, you still have to go to court and do what's called a quiet title. And so in this case here, if they were applying the same current legal principles, it would be a certain amount of time. Let's say they're doing 90 days. That's a pretty fast one, but in law, it's usually years. And then after the years, they pay the taxes, and then they file a quiet title action. And the quiet title action, the judge, you publish it in the newspaper and you give everybody notice. You serve everybody on a certified mail, you personally in certified mail, you put all his pendants on the property title, and then you serve everybody in the nursepaper through a publication once the judge orders you to do it. And then they get a chance to come in. And if nobody comes in, it's still a hearing, and then they would eventually establish quiet title, and you would become the owner of that property after everybody's given full due process. No surprises, no cons, no scams. It's a full due process and opportunity to everybody. And that's what's happening here. And maybe this person will eventually do a quiet title. I don't know.
Exploit. This elaborate legal protection would make no sense for simple owners recovering their own funds. Why this legal cover? Because sending $8.6 billion to a centralized exchange without legal justification would immediately provoke an international investigation.
Definitely cause
the staging of the 90-day deadline and the legal framework of abandonment offers anticipated protection against authorities.
Yeah, see, they could lock the funds, right? Random. I mean, so let's say, that's his Craig, which most likely it is, Craig Wright. Now he's got the funds over there. They could lock his funds up, say, we don't want you to withdraw. We don't want you to sell this money. We're going to do a lock on the funds, make you do something, make you go to court, get a court order. Now he's got to go to court, file a case years later before he can sell his BTC. But at least he's given this person notice. Everybody noticed that this is what's happening.
3, artistic demonstration.
So
a Bitcoin
Satoshi's
whale
laws.
orchestrated this operation as a conceptual performance, mixing cultural references and power demonstration. The importance of October 5th. Whatever the true nature of this operation, the date of October 5, 2025 will mark a turning point. If the announced sale takes place, we will measure the real impact on markets. If it doesn't take place, the mystery will thicken further. Better understand the potential exploit. What is exactly Randstorm vulnerability?
Right. So I'm not going to go into that. That's not relevant to me. But what is that October 5th is the date. And we may have a sell order coming on October 5th. Impact of regulation. July 4th was the date. Very sophisticated. Highly sophisticated. The way this was done. There's only a handful of people, and this is definitely a first-generation Bitcoiner. I mean, I'm not even, okay, I'm pretty much, I don't know why I'm even speculating here. We know that this is Craig Wright's wallets. So the likelihood of his wallets getting stolen because of Kleiman v. Wright. So I don't think he's gotten his keys stolen. I really don't, I mean, come on. The guy's posting on X every day. He's living in someplace in Asia, growing cucumbers and gardening and getting master's degrees every week or month. He's putting up a new master's degree. I wish I had one master's degree and the authority, and then a new doctorate, and he's getting a new law degree. He's got a new Juris Doctorate. I mean, he's on a masterful. So I don't think he's out there getting robbed. He doesn't look like he's in poverty right now at all. So more likely than not that this is him, and he's having fun right now doing this legal process, giving everybody notice to the world that these Satoshis are his, and he's going to create a wave, just like he's given notice to everybody he's going to do, which was the original legal notice that he gave back in 2019 or 2018, long-term legal notice that he was going to be selling a massive amount of BTC at once. and it could create a massive tidal wave in the market. So what's going to happen what would happen if he put that BTC over into BSV? That would be the question I don't think anyone's considered. What would that do? What if if he, so right now today, I will say today, one thing that we could show is that he posted today, right now, honestly, I'm convinced that it's him. We know from Kleiman v. Wright. Let me share a quick thing from Kleiman v. Wright, because maybe people aren't up to speed. Yeah, just to give a quick recap, this is a bloodbath of a case, went on for 5 years with massive discovery, massive amount of evidence that came into the case. All the Satoshi-era wallets came in. Yeah, you had guys like Antonopoulos and Gavin Andreessen testifying. Massive. This case was arguably one of the biggest cases of all time ever in history over the fortune of Satoshi's fortune. This is what gave Craig Wright the legal right to do what he's doing right now, to sell all Satoshi, right? The dead guy, the non-existent fiction, the anonymous person with no legal rights, Bitcoin, BTC. And here's why. This appeal involves an ownership dispute stemming from the origins of the cryptocurrency Bitcoin. So that's what this whole case was about. That one sentence, which is the very first line of the appeal, and that's what was decided. The origins of the cryptocurrency Bitcoin, the controlling rights over all those original origin coins from the early days, the Satoshi-era wallets. That's what it was about. Didn't cover the identity of Satoshi Nakamoto. It wasn't really relevant to the case, but what was relevant was the ownership rights to all the assets, which was decided to be under the control of Wright and Wright-controlled entities, not Kleiman. Okay, not Kleiman. There's some of the fake news out there that doesn't understand the law or just does gaslighting, which is like, saying the wrong information for improper reason. They say that Wright lost the case. Doesn't make any sense. What Wright did was paid a small fraction of 150 million. Now, 150 million of a $60 billion fortune is like less than 1%. It was a small, tiny little fraction, and that was only to a nonprofit of which Kleiman was a third owner, and then Wright had two partners, including both his ex-wives that were partners of the other part of it. So Kleiman got a small, Ira Kleiman got a small amount of money to that entity as a payout, which was probably ended up being about maybe 20 million. And that sounds like a lot, but it's not in the way of the fortune. The fortune itself is all under the control of Wright. So that being said, that's what's going on right now, is that Wright is now, more likely than not, he's selling off, he's giving the legal notice to take possession. It's kind of like almost an adverse possession of Satoshi's coins. Why? Because he has the keys. He has the keys. He didn't just lose these keys. He has the keys, but he wants to cover his ass because it's such a big deal that the whole, it could upset the entire market. Coinbase and all these Ponzi schemes, bucket shop exchanges could shut down. I don't know if they will. This is just the first wave, right? So you've got just a small amount of a wave happening. You've got 80,000 BTC selling. That's only a small amount of what's left. People in the mainstream, they think that Satoshi has never done anything in his wallets. He's a hero. And he's got 1.1 million BTC that he's never touched. Well, that's not true. We got 80,000 right here. 80,000 that just moved and is now coming up for liquidation on the 5th of October. Remember the 5th of November. This is the 5th of October, but the surprise is not over yet. This operation is all happening, and I do think there's a bigger plan. But I'm wondering about what would happen is if he sold that into BSV from BTC. Why put it into fiat? There's a post today from him, and I wish I could share it. I'll see if I could find it right now. I'm still recording, so pause. Really interesting. It's just fascinating to think that the guy who's likely doing this all is on X, and nobody's paying any attention. It's funny. You got Jack Liu saying that Terranode is a rug. They're building it on, they're not even using Bitcoin SV, but it's just the test net that they're using. It's only launched on test net right now, and they're going to be launching it on mainnet. Okay, that's and as Tominga, he says, you believe anything, huh? JL ever says. Now let me see if I can find the post here that he talks about. Just it's a really a brief reply. Bitcoin doesn't fork, it's scaled. See that? Is BSV a fork of BCH? Is the original Bitcoin chain still running? It's called BSV, the original Bitcoin chain. Bitcoin doesn't fork, it scales. So the guy who's got all of that BTC that's selling right now on the 5th potentially is saying this. It's the original Bitcoin is called BSV. Bitcoin doesn't fork, it scales. It doesn't fork. Sorry, it scales. Absolutely. Shout out to Reggie. Supported DeFi in 2000. Bitcoin supported DeFi in 2009. So anyways, here we go. Bitcoin, the Terranode launch source code is now public, open for anyone to inspect it. A big milestone. And somebody commented on, I don't know where it was, but they commented about, is it on, is it released yet? It is released on testnet, but not main yet. It's not out on main yet. That's why mainnet. That's why Jack Liu's saying that it was a rug, because it's not on mainnet yet, but it's going to be on mainnet. So anyways, that's the latest. I wanted to get that video out there on the record so everybody could see it and get a little commentary on what could happen on the 5th. Hey man, entertainment purposes only. It's a great day. Be sure to look out for the Babage Hackathon coming up on the next week, a week from today. I'll be up there. Looks like I'm going for sure. So whether we take a tour bus up there with Mike, I don't know. That's on the fence, but for sure I'm already going. I'm already booked. So I'm already booked. I know Brett's going, Mike's going, Matt Welsh said looks like he's probably going. Kurt, I think, is going. I believe Raphael's going. It's going to be a blast. Babbage team. I'm sure there'll be a lot of other people going there. Mitch, Metawatt. It's going to be a blast. If you could make it, Bend, I think, Medford, Oregon next week, Thursday, Friday. So, Casey Nicole, she's going. It's going to be a great, great turnout. I will see you there, and hit the ones in this video. This is a really important video. I want to get this on the record. So hit the ones, leave a comment. Let me know what you think. I'll see you at the top.